Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have a couple of house cleaning things to address. So if you want to jump right to the video, I'll put a timestamp. So I did rebrand my channel. I am now the Low Buy Life. So I'm really excited about that. I went through a few different name ideas, but the sun is really weird because I'm recording at a different time of day. But my previous name was almost more of a placeholder because I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to focus on with my channel. But now that I have a better idea, I decided to go ahead and just rebrand. So I hope everyone likes that name. It's easy to find, easy to remember, and I'm just really excited to get things rebranded. And also, I made this sweater, so I wanted to wear it. I'm so excited. But that also means it's cold enough to wear a cozy sweater, which is both good and bad. I mean, cozy sweaters are always nice, but oh my gosh, it is so cold today. Pixel is also here to join me since she's feeling better. So anyway, oh, and I got a new mic. So a lot of new announcements today. But if you are new here, I'm sure you don't care about any of that. So let's jump into the video. So today I just wanted to talk about things to declutter before the holidays. When I started my channel earlier this year, or I guess at the end of last year, I was really into decluttering because this time of year is when I really start to get that itch to declutter because you're getting new holiday items, you want to get rid of your old stuff, and if you're like me, you don't have a whole lot of room, so you really can't be keeping everything and then not getting rid of stuff in return. So I just have some tips here of things that you can do to keep your place decluttered. So the very first one is to get rid of old or broken holiday decor. So things like ornaments or stuff that you haven't put up in a few years, just stuff that you don't really care to put up anymore. I know for me, I've moved apartments several times. So when I did my big declutter last year, I had a lot of stuff that worked for other apartments and also when I had other trees, but I haven't put it up in a few years, and especially not at this apartment. So there was a lot of stuff I needed to get rid of for that reason. So that's definitely something that can help you decide what to get rid of. Number two is extra wrapping supplies. So this is stuff that you use to wrap that you're just not going to use, if that makes sense. So things like crumpled paper, tangled ribbons, just like old gift bags that aren't in very good condition. So things that you may have on hand as part of your wrapping supplies, but you really don't plan on using. Every time you go to wrap, maybe you overlook it and go to something else. So it's those things that have been sitting around and just aren't in good shape. Number three is seasonal candles that you no longer like or are almost empty. So I know for me, I dealt with this in the fall when I was putting out my fall stuff. So I keep a lot of my decorations out here in the sunroom, and the sunroom is not temperature controlled. So a lot of my candles started to melt when it got really hot in the summer. And one of them was laying on its side, and there wasn't much left in the jar. So it melted all down the side of the candle, and there's really no way to use it. I mean, I could use a candle warmer, but honestly, it's in a weird spot on the candle and it was pretty much out anyway, so it wasn't even worth it. So stuff like that. I know I also had some candles that I had bought online, which is always a bad idea with candles if you don't know what they smell like. It's so hit or miss. So I had some candles I bought that I just didn't really care for, and I gave one away, and then another one I just donated. And the same thing could be said for things like seasonal body sprays, seasonal hand washes, room sprays, any of that stuff that's scented, especially if you don't like it. I know it's hard to just get rid of it because you just want to keep hanging on to it. You don't want to waste your money. But if it's something you don't like, you're really not going to be using it. So go ahead and get rid of it. Number four, old pillows and blankets that aren't in good shape. So any of those, especially seasonal throw. Oh, I just kicked my camera and it went all over the place. So old pillows and blankets and throws and things like that that just aren't in good shape. So maybe you have seasonal throw blankets that are starting to pill, or actually the one I'm sitting on now is really not. I don't know if you can see. It's really not in very good shape. So this actually might be one that's on that list. But to be fair, the front of it is really cute and it's still really soft, so I'll probably keep it. But maybe that was a bad example. So things that are maybe falling apart that you can't repair. I know lumpy pillows that you can't otherwise repair. I mean, some of these things you could maybe put through a fluff cycle in the dryer or something and revive them, but kind of reevaluate what you have. It might be a situation where you just have too much. I mean, I tend to end up with a lot of throw blankets. That's such a popular thing for people to get for gifts. So if you have too many of those things, you could upcycle them, you can donate them, you could, if it's still in the packaging or still fairly new, you could almost re-gift it or at least just give it away. So number 5 is unused serveware, holiday dishes, and things of that nature. Cookie cutters, a lot of the kitchen stuff that you would have seasonally, maybe even pot holders that aren't in good shape or that you don't use. Maybe you have too many of them, any of that sort of thing. So if you don't host big holiday get-togethers, you may not need a special set of holiday dishes. As much as I'm against paper plates, I mean, that's always something you can use in a pinch. So if you're not used to having a lot of people over for the holidays, then you could always have that as a backup. It's no big deal. People usually don't mind having to use paper plates for one meal. So don't take up all of your space with some of these seasonal things that you might not even use. It's also really easy to thrift stuff like that, especially serveware. So if it's something you're on the fence about, you could probably thrift it later anyway. Number 6, expired pantry items. This is such a good one that I talked about also in my video for a budget Thanksgiving. You want to go through and see what you have in your pantry, but for sure, if it's an expired item, definitely get rid of it, obviously. And also number 7, I probably could have put these together, but I wanted a nice round number with 10. But number 7 is to use up some of those items that are getting close to their expiration date. So anything in your fridge, freezer, pantry that's getting close, go ahead and make some clean out meals or plan some kind of meal around them so that they don't expire before you can use them. Number 8 is winter clothes, hats, accessories, and boots. So anything you're going to wear this winter, maybe it's stuff that you haven't worn in a few seasons. Maybe you just have too many things like gloves and hats, etc. I know that was an issue with my daughter. There was one point where everyone was buying her winter hats for some reason, and she ended up with like 7 or 8 winter hats. It was so crazy. And then, of course, she outgrew all of them like the next couple of years. But yeah, any of those items where you have too many, maybe they're not in good shape, just reevaluate what you have and declutter some of those items. And similarly, number 9 is holiday outfits that you don't wear anymore. And same situation, if they're in bad shape and you can't fix them or you don't want to fix them, maybe you outgrew them or some situation like that where any reason that you don't wear them, just go ahead and get rid of them. Number 10 is old toys, books, and board games, things of that nature. Any of these things that you've had lying around, you don't particularly want anymore. I always hesitate to say get rid of books you haven't read yet because I know for me, like a good chunk of my books I haven't read yet. That's one of the reasons that I have them on hand because I want to read them. So books that you otherwise don't want, you can get rid of them. You can donate them, put them in a little library box if you have one in your area. I love those. I talk about those so much on this channel. If there's a book you're on the fence about, I mean, you can always use the library, so it's not that serious most of the time. Old toys, that's one that I actually just did with my daughter. So she had a lot of old toys in her room. She had her birthday recently. So she got a bunch of new toys, and then some of her old toys were just getting in the way. And there are things that I hadn't seen her playing with. And I asked her, like, hey, do you play with this anymore? Do you want to get rid of it? And luckily, a lot of things she was totally fine with getting rid of. So we really downsized her toys quite a bit. And that's a really good thing to do right before the holidays. So I really hope this list helped. Let me know if I left anything out. Is there anything that you like to declutter right before the holidays? I know probably the biggest one for me is the toys, especially because of my daughter. If you're a parent, you know how many toys kids get and it just fills their room, and her room is not that big. So it's something that I really like to stay on top of. But anyway, if you watched the whole video, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.